Welcome to another episode of Bold Weakling. My name is Josh Sazdanoff, and we do this webisode series to encourage, equip, and challenge believers to share the gospel, because the Great Commission is to go into all the world and preach the gospel to all creation. So we like to share true stories of ways that God has used myself or other people to minister to the lost. So I'm talking again today about university evangelism. This is part 2. And I want to talk about a story when I was in English class at Arizona State University, and I was supposed to write a persuasive paper. And I thought, what's a better topic and more controversial than the resurrection of Jesus Christ? So that was my topic, and I wrote and defended my position, and we had to meet in small groups with other students and discuss it. So this was just such an easy, great segue to share the gospel with fellow students. And I remember my English teacher as well. I met with him after hours and was able to share with him and tried to give him a Bible. He rejected it. But, you know, the thing that matters is that we plant the seeds and we water the seeds, but God is the one who grants the increase. So I'm just trusting the Lord in the obedience to the Great Commission, and He does the work of salvation in people's lives. So I wrote that paper. And then I believe it was my next semester, I had a speech class. And in my speech class, we had to share a persuasive speech. And so I basically just took my notes from my English class that I wrote on the resurrection of Jesus Christ and put it into my speech. However, before we would tell this or share this speech of what you were going to talk about, you had to present your topic to the class, and they would either go yay or nay on your topic. And so you wouldn't believe this, but maybe you will. But in my class, there was obviously a lot of non-believers, which is totally expected in a big secular university. But I remember the two people who went up before me. One was this guy who presented the topic about, if I remember correctly, pornography, and how it shouldn't be there shouldn't be an age limit to it, and there should be more freedom for people to look at it at earlier ages, whatever, even though people do that anyways. And then there was this girl that, this really happened, went up before me and said, I think we should be allowed to marry our pets. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in the middle of Sodom and Gomorrah in this class. And she was serious, and she got approved for her topic, and the guy got approved for his topic about pornography. And I get up there and I say, I want to do a speech on the resurrection of Jesus Christ. And you could hear a pin drop. And my teacher, who was not a believer as far as I could tell, said, you know, are you really going to convince us in such a short message to become a Christian? And I think God gave me some wisdom in the moment. And I said in front of the whole class, I said, well, do you think that this girl is going to convince me and everybody else to marry their pets in such a short class? And everybody started laughing. And the teacher said, oh, yeah, you got a good point there. So I got the approval to do the resurrection, and I gave a speech, and I basically preached the gospel, the death and the resurrection of Jesus Christ, to all these students who maybe many of them never been to church, or maybe would never step foot in church at that time. And once again, by God's grace, I encourage you, when you're in university or you're in school and you got opportunities to preach the gospel, and you're going to get some resistance. Like I got resistance from my teacher, saying, oh, we shouldn't be able to do that. And I encourage you to, in love, to stand up and to fight for that, and fight for your freedom of speech, and all for the cause of preaching the gospel, because Satan has blinded the minds of unbelievers to the light of the gospel, so they cannot hear or understand the things of God, because it's foolishness to them, and Satan has blinded them, and they need that veil removed to hear and understand the gospel and so be saved. And so I just encourage you, whatever school you go to, whatever college, university you go to make the most of your opportunities, because the days are evil, and we have the great privilege, that's right, privilege to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ to the lost. So I hope that story encourages you, and that you'll be bold, even though if you're a weakling, and you are, because we are all, the Bible says God has chosen the foolish to shame the wise. He's chosen the weak to shame the strong, and that's us believers. So us bold weaklings need to go out there and make an impact for the cause of Christ.